Hey, what's up? John Sonmez here, and I got a comment on a video I did. This video just because I got this comment from Zaraki, who says, I disagree, John. It doesn't matter what you say, because when you meet a girl, she's either attracted to you or not. If her attraction level is high enough and you ask her out, she'll say yes, and you take it from there. If she's initially not attracted enough to you, it doesn't matter what or how you say it, she won't go out with you. So, this is sort of a naive viewpoint, okay? And I understand this viewpoint. I don't want to make fun of this viewpoint so much, but it is a very, very crude understanding of human relations and human sexuality, right? There's some books I could recommend that, well, I'm not even going to recommend books in this case, okay? Because we can just talk this out. Okay, but I will say this, that when I speak here, I'm speaking from personal experience for sure. Okay, a lot of personal experience. Okay, and on both sides of the equation. Okay, and so I mean, I can tell you, what the theoretics are, but I can tell you what is actually happened in my own life and what has been applicable or not. Right. So definitely, I can say that, and I can. There has been plenty of times where I have talked to a girl, approach a girl that was not initially attracted to me, that have basically blatantly said, you're not my type, you're not my typical type, right? And have basically said that, and then have said things like, but, there was something that you said, or the way that you touched me, or when you kissed me, I melted. Or you see what I'm saying? Like that has happened many, many times, okay? So I'm trying to think where to go with this. So what I'm saying is that, like, again, I'm not saying to necessarily that you should believe what a girl says in that instance, in that case, but there's definitely, like, okay, and what I should have done was back up a little bit. So let's back up. Let's actually back up here, because I don't want you to argue with me saying, oh, John, that's just your experience, or she could have been lying to you. I want to back up to the point of a basic understanding here, and then we'll go back forward to this. But let's talk about this idea that you think that the way that women are attracted to men in general is the same as the way that men are attracted to women. Okay, and I've done a lot of videos talking about this topic, but we'll rehash this real quick here, because I think this is really important for you guys to understand, which is this, is that yes, there is physical attraction, of course, okay, but it's very different between men and women in both the way that it's experienced and the priority that is placed on it, right? So for most men, like you're viewing the world through your own eyes, right? You're assuming that women are viewing you the way that you're viewing them. And if you look around, right, in popular culture and magazines, right, and everything, you can see that that's not true. Like the perception of women versus men, like you don't see attractive men everywhere in magazines. You see some, of course, right? But in general, right, women are on women's magazines, they're on men's magazines, right? And women are sex symbols, they're used to sell advertising, right? They are basically used in that the female form is definitely more appealing to men and women, okay? And the thing about this is that you have to understand is that as a man, you're probably driven mostly by your physical attraction to a female, right? You see a woman that's attractive, and your quote wanting to go out with her or get with her is based so much on that concept, on how you view her, from that, are you attracted to her physically or not? Whereas females are not necessarily wired the same way. I'm not saying that they don't see a male that's physically attractive, okay, and think that he's attractive. Of course they do, and women have different types, and I would say that that's a little bit more varied. But what I would say is, in general, right, and you can kind of test this theory by looking around, observing. Like anything I say, right, on this channel, you should observe in the world to see if it holds true, okay? Because a lot of the beliefs that I have gleaned, right? If I have any wisdom, I've gleaned it from observing what actually happens in the world and what happens, right? Not even just my own personal experiences. From my own personal experiences, of course, I can gain some amount of wisdom, right? But you can't gain a huge amount, but you can gain more wisdom by watching, okay? And if you go out to nightclubs, if you go out to bars, if you go out to places where there are men and women interacting in a somewhat romantic nature, you will see this, right? You will see guys that are not necessarily the most attractive guys with attractive girls, right? You'll see old men with attractive girls, right? You'll see different combinations, right? But you're rarely going to see a very successful and powerful man with an unattractive woman. Or if you do, you'll see the other woman on the side later, right? You see what I'm saying? So you need to understand that the dynamics are different. And if you don't understand the dynamics are different, then you're not going to be approaching things the right way, right? Because what you're going to do, if you think that it's just, physical attraction, then you're going to be going into the gym every day, and you're going to be like, getting plastic surgery and doing all these things and to cosmetically enhance yourself as a man, which again, why think about it this again, right? Who spends more money on cosmetic surgery, on cosmetic enhancements, on cosmetics, right? On everything to look better? How much does it cost for a woman to get her hair done that she pays like $100 that lasts her an evening, okay? You see what I'm saying? To get nails done, all this stuff, right? All of that is spent for what purpose? Because that is their main attracting quality, okay? Whereas men don't. Okay, because that's not their main attracting quality. You see what I'm saying? So you need to understand this. Otherwise, you're going to waste all this time focusing on the wrong thing, because you think that if you're just the most attractive guy in the world, then women will just throw themselves at you, which is not the case. Now, a lot of attractive guys happen to be celebrities, or well, let's say the other way. A lot of celebrities happen to be attractive guys. So you sort of view it that way, but the celebrity status has more to do with the attraction that they're garnering than anything else, because women are attracted primarily to status, okay? And status displays itself in many different ways. One of the ways it displays itself is in what's called social status, right? This is the ability to socially command a situation, to lead other men, to be confident, to be dominant, to make decisions, to have presence, to have purpose, to have a focus and a direction, okay? That is socially dominant. That is a socially, it indicates social status, okay? Another way is through wealth, right? Through wealth and power, which are generally related, right? But they don't have to be. Contextually, someone can have power, a man can have power being in a position, right, as a boss or a manager at Denny's, okay, can have power contextually in that situation. Being the president of the United States will garner you quite a bit of power, okay? Money often leads to power, and wealth is often an attractor, because that is a status symbol as well, right? Essentially, if you think about it from a biological perspective, it's all about like who is going to be the best protector, who is going to be the best person that I'm going to be able to pass on my genetics to, right? And in general, right, women are biologically wired to be seeking the better mate, the better option, right? Not just a physical specimen, but in all aspects, right? So that's where status comes in. And again, physical presence can be status, right? If you're an attractive looking guy, if you're a model, if you have a good physique, if you're big, right? Those type of things, being tall makes a difference. Those things will add to status, but they're not the primary attractor. Does that make sense? Like I want you guys to, I'm kind of beating the dead horse here, and I'm going to make this video long, because I really want you to understand this, because if you don't understand this, you're going to be wasting your fucking life and wasting your fucking time, and you're going to have this viewpoint that like, oh, if a girl is either attracted to you or not. That's not quite the case. See, you can build attraction and you can create attraction, okay? And you can even do it, I want to say, outside of status, right? So if I'm telling you what you should do in life, it is to build status as a man, which the best kind of status that I think that you can build that has the highest leverage point, right? Because you want to pick you want to pick things that are going to have the highest leverage point, okay? And what I mean by the highest leverage point is, I mean, what can you do that's going to get you the most possible benefit in your life with the least amount of effort? And that would be to generate social status, to have social skills, to be a man of actual value, right? As opposed to perceived value, right? Or fake value. So that would be actually improving yourself, developing yourself. Yeah, go to the gym. You might as well work on those things, right? but developing your mind, developing your social skills, okay? And this is in your confidence, okay? These are things that you can do. You can practice this. This is why I tell you guys, right? You know, a lot of, I've gotten some comments like, oh, you just focus on like the problem is all guys and they're shy. Yeah, that's a lot of your guys' problem is like if you could overcome this. And I know because it was my problem, and when I solved that problem, pretty soon I had an abundance, okay? So you have to understand this, that it is not that a woman is going to, meet you and then she's either attracted to you or not. And if she's attracted and you ask her out, she'll say yes. That's not even true at all, right? So getting back to it now, like I said, that from my own experience, I could tell you for sure that there have been plenty of girls that were not attracted to me initially, right? That became attracted, and even had left. We'll say, to put it in a politically correct. Well, there's no politically correct term, but have left with me in that very evening. Okay, that just like that within like a matter of hours. Okay, so it's not to brag either, but at the other side of it, there have been plenty of girls that have indicated, a physical interest, right? That have, I remember literally one time that I got like assaulted in an elevator, right, by multiple girls. Like, it was at a pool thing, and I had my shirt off, and I'm not going to go into the whole details, but there was no chance of anything happening there because that doesn't matter, right? Because like it's different, right? I mean, if girls are throwing themselves at you as a guy, you're pretty much going to go with this hot girl that's throwing herself at you, right? It's like, but girls don't think that same way. That same way. If a guy is throwing himself at a girl and he's hot, it doesn't necessarily mean that she's going to go out with him at all. There's a lot of circumstances there. So what I'm saying is that it works. It's both ways, right? And it's so much different. Okay, like I said, you can be a very attractive guy, and a woman could be totally attracted to you, and she could still tell you no, because it's not just about that, because there might be something else missing, because you lack confidence, because you're afraid, because she's like, oh, you look nice, but then you open your mouth and you sound like a fucking idiot who's like chicken, who's not dominant at all, who's submissive, who is like, has no self-esteem and is like needy and clingy and all these things, right? Those are gonna ruin your day. It doesn't matter, right? And I get this all the time, right? Because a lot of guys, when I used to go out and whatnot, they would say, oh, it must be so easy for you. And it wasn't easy for me when I was shy, right? Until I learned some of these people skills, because it's not what you think. It is not what you think at all. It is not what you're saying, right? When you say that it's just, this or another. Again, not saying that it can't be an advantage to you. Obviously, having a girl that is attracted to you is going to be an advantage to you. And every once in a while, if a girl is super attracted to you and you talk to her and then you ask her out, she's going to, of course, say it's going to be easy for you, even if you're a bumbling idiot, right? Because she's just so into you. For some reason, and some of it's going to be for some quirky reason. It's not even going to be just total physical attraction. I'll tell you that right now. So that's the thing. You might just be matching her blueprint, right, of an ex-boyfriend or father figure that didn't show her love, right? And so you might just be looking like that person, and that might be her blueprint, which is gonna cause her to just like fawn over you automatically. So you can't base it off of that. The other thing I would say about this is that, the kind of the naive viewpoint here is that, you're like, this commenter, you're like, well, if her attraction level is high enough and you ask her out, she'll say yes, and you take it from there. What are you talking about? Ask her out. If you can build enough attraction, you can do a lot more than that in a couple hours time. Believe me, like that's like, you're not even understanding the full capability of what's possible here. Like this is, but this is why I say again that this extends more than just that physical attraction aspect of it, right? Because you can literally build actual attraction, but that's not enough, right? I mean, and I'll tell you this, because of the way that women are wired, if you become good at this and you become confident, okay, and you can go up and you can talk to women, you will be able to build attraction with women very easily, right? You will be able to get a girl laughing and to dig you and to like you and to feel attraction towards you, okay? Which is, again, this is very, very different than the way it works in the opposite scenario, right? A woman couldn't really do that. She'd have to look attractive to you, right? But for women, the opposite is totally possible. But so you can actually develop that skill set, and you can be very good at becoming attractive to women, just being charming, being charismatic, right? You can develop those skills. I guarantee you, you absolutely can. Okay, but that's still not enough. That doesn't even mean that. I mean, I remember back in the day getting, and a lot of the guys that I coach, right, even nowadays, getting, maybe like, 50 phone numbers in a week, and like 90% of them would flake. Right? So like you can even get that and get the yes, and it still doesn't mean anything. You see what I'm saying? Whereas if you think about the other way around, it's not very, I mean, if a girl that you are attracted to gives you your phone number, her phone number, you're probably going to follow up and you're probably going to go out with her, right? You see what I'm saying? So it doesn't work the other way. You just have to understand this. And so there's a lot more to it, okay? There's a lot more than just building that attraction aspect of it, because there's a lot more involved with this. So, and I could go into details. I'm not going to go into the details in this particular video. If you guys are interested in more of a kind of, I don't want to say pick up, but kind of more like progress, how to be successful with women type of series, I'll probably do want to go into more of the details of what happens after that. But I've been mostly coaching you guys and talking about just the opening, just going and talking, because first of all, becoming the best version of yourself possible, and becoming a confident person and getting over your fears is going to get you like 90% better results, or 90% of the way there, right? You're going to get like multiple times, 100 times better results than what you're getting now, because you're going to get 0 results now if you're too afraid to fucking do anything. Okay. But there's still more. That doesn't mean it doesn't end there. There's still a lot more that you have to learn, right, in order to be able to be successful with women. But, summary of this whole thing is basically this, is that don't assume that it is based on physical attraction and that women just suss you up and say, oh, this guy's hot or this guy's not. I'm not saying that women don't have that dialogue playing in their head, but it changes from time to time. At any moment, it's not made up, right? It can change, and it does change, and you have control over that, right? There is something that is very true, which is attraction is not a choice. Okay, but that works for you and against you. Okay, now if you think that it's just a physical attraction aspect of it, then it's going to work against you in a majority of cases. But if you realize that it's also just like how you're being and how you're talking and how you're presenting yourself and the confidence that you're exuding and the status that you're showing subconsciously by the way that you're interacting, by the things that you're wearing, by what you're indicating, and the way that you're willing to say things, right, that indicates that you have experience, you have history, you have options. All of those things play together, that creates that attraction, which is not a choice. But again, even having that doesn't matter as much, right? Not for a guy, right? There's a whole different social construct between guys and girls and all of that, right? I mean, if you're just for one more little paradigm shift to make you understand that things are different, okay? If you're out at a bar with your friends, okay, and you saw some girl, and and your let's say your buddy goes and he starts talking to some girl, and he's like, you can see that they're into each other. You're gonna like be like, hey dude, we're gonna go over here to this other bar. You have a good night, right? And you're gonna be like, get out of here with her, like, what I mean? Like, you're gonna encourage him to actually like, have a good time and. Good job, he hooked up with this girl. Great, awesome. Like, whatever you need, man. Like, I'll sleep on the floor, like outside of the apartment. Here's my keys. Like, go for it, man. Right? That's kind of your attitude as for your bro, right? Whereas in the same exact scenario, if it were a group of women and her friend is talking to some guy, she's got to, like, the friends are like trying to pull her back. They're trying to say like, hey, wait a minute, you got to stay with us. Like, you can't go off with this guy, right? You know what I mean? Like that, there's this, it's an implied contract, but they're also going to be trying to pull her back. They don't want her to score. They don't want her to, and if she does, she's gonna be kind of like shamed for it, for being easy. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that are going on in the social dynamics that affect all of these things. And if you just take it from the shallow viewpoint of, I'm a guy and this is how I see the world and this is how I see attraction, this is how I see, what women I would select and be attracted to and go out with, or whatever, however you want to term that, then you're going to be missing majority of the picture, because there's going to be a very, very small percentage of women that perhaps even think like that, or that happen to, like, you push their button for some reason, and they're like, and they're attracted to you. You're right. So you're gonna get, if you think that that's it, if you think it's just like, oh, she's either into me or not, yeah, it's gonna be really, really difficult for you to have any kind of success at all, because it doesn't work that way. It works totally differently. Okay, so I think that's about all I have to say about that. If you guys have questions about this, if you want me to do a series, give me some topics you want me to talk about in terms of this. I do some coaching on this, and I'm trying to think. Maybe I'll give some like real life examples or stuff like that. But I'm not going to do any kind of footage and stuff at this point. That's a little bit much. But let me know. Let me know what you want to see. Let me know what questions that you have. Leave a comment below. Click the subscribe button if you haven't already. Click the bell so you don't miss any videos. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.